can't even speak. What? I got your gun.
Star Trek has been a cultural phenomenon for over 50 years, captivating millions with its visionary stories and unforgettable characters. But beneath the surface of this legendary franchise lies a treasure trove of secrets, creative choices and hidden details born not from design, but necessity. Many of the most iconic elements you recognize actually came about because of clever problem-solving on tight budgets and tight schedules. In this video, we're diving into 10 surprising facts about Star Trek that even the most devoted fans might have missed. From war injuries cleverly hidden on set, to everyday objects transformed into futuristic props, these behind-the-scenes stories reveal the ingenious creativity that helped bring the Star Trek universe to life. Whether it's a tiny continuity error or a bold production hack, these details show just how much heart and resourcefulness went into making the series. So buckle up and get ready to see Star Trek in a whole new light. These hidden gems have been hiding in plain sight for decades, and once you know them, you'll never look at the Enterprise the same way again. Let's begin. Scotty's missing finger. One of Star Trek's most overlooked details is Montgomery, Scott's missing finger. James Doohan, the actor who played Scotty, wasn't just a space engineer, he was a real war hero. During World War II, on D-Day, Doohan was wounded by 6 bullets, one of which took his right middle finger. This injury became a hidden part of Scotty's character. The production team worked hard to keep the missing finger out of sight. Doohan mostly used his left hand on camera or kept his right hand closed. When his right hand had to be shown, they used hand doubles or shot from angles that hid the injury. Props were also designed to mask the missing digit. Despite the injury, Doohan's performance made Scotty one of the most beloved characters in the franchise. This little-known fact reminds us that behind the futuristic stories were real people, with real histories quietly woven into the fabric of the show. Whiskey bottles as alien props. Star Trek's alien worlds often featured strange and exotic objects, but many were actually everyday items cleverly repurposed. One famous example is the alien liquor container seen in the original series. Fans might be surprised to learn that some of these were just ordinary whiskey bottles. The iconic Saurian brandy container, for instance, was made from a 1964 George Dickel, Tennessee, whiskey bottle. The prop team simply took these commemorative bottles and turned them into alien artifacts with minimal changes. There were both lighter and darker brown glass versions used on screen, becoming instantly recognizable to collectors and fans alike. This clever reuse of household items was common. Salt shakers became medical instruments, packaging materials turned into control panels, and more. With limited budgets, these creative solutions gave Star Trek its rich, otherworldly look without breaking the bank. Shatner versus Nimoy font size feud. Behind Star Trek's iconic opening credits lies a little-known contract dispute between William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy. The two leads actually fought over the size of their names in the credits. Nimoy's contract required his name to be no smaller than 75% of Shatner's font size. Starting with the episode The Naked Time, his name appeared as also starring Leonard Nimoy as Mr. Spock, 75%. This unusual detail reflected the competitive dynamics between the two stars. The favored nations clause meant they had to be treated equally in pay and screen time, but this font size difference became a subtle battlefield. The tension continued into later films, where Shatner even used it to demand directing roles after Nimoy's turn behind the camera. Bubble wrap as Klingon armor. One of Star Trek's most iconic looks is the fearsome Klingon armor, but did you know parts of it were made from ordinary bubble wrap? The costume department used painted strips of bubble wrap to create textured, alien-looking armor pieces. This wasn't just a budget hack. Costume designer Bill Tice saw bubble wrap's unique texture as a perfect way to suggest futuristic armor. The material was painted and placed carefully, turning something mundane into something otherworldly. For decades, viewers never questioned the armor's authenticity. When fans eventually uncovered the secret, it became a testament to Star Trek's clever creativity and resourcefulness. Ping Pong Ball Starship. The alien spacecraft that first confronts the Enterprise in the Corbomite maneuver looks impressive, but it was built from something surprisingly simple: ping pong balls. The model, called the Phasarius, was essentially a large sphere covered with cut ping-pong balls glued to its surface. This creative use of everyday materials was a smart way to stretch the budget. The production team added lighting effects to make the ship pulse with power, giving it an alien feel despite the humble construction. While some fans debate the exact materials, the ping-pong ball design remains a classic example of Star Trek's imaginative problem-solving. James R. Kirk Tombstone error. In one of Star Trek's earliest episodes, Where No Man Has Gone Before, a glaring mistake appears on Captain Kirk's tombstone. Instead of his correct middle initial, T for Tiberius, the tombstone reads James R. Kirk. This continuity error was never fixed on screen. Even during remastering, it was too complicated to change. Gene Roddenberry explained it in Universe by saying Gary Mitchell, who created the tombstone, made a simple mistake, even though he had godlike powers. Flipped Enterprise shot to hide Earth. At times, the Starship Enterprise sails through space in a way that seems a little off. And there's a reason for that. To keep Earth or other unwanted background elements out of the shot, the production team would flip footage of the ship horizontally. This clever shortcut allowed them to reuse shots without costly reshoots or special effects. However, this caused a subtle continuity glitch. The ship's registry number, NCC 1701, appeared backwards in some scenes. While most viewers never noticed, sharp-eyed fans eventually caught on to this mirrored detail. The flip shots also sometimes showed other asymmetrical features reversed, adding to the effect. Though it was a simple production trick, it's one of those hidden quirks that shows how the crew worked around technical and budget limitations while keeping the story moving forward. These small imperfections now serve as charming Easter eggs for dedicated fans. Starfleet Insignia wasn't always universal. The famous arrowhead insignia that Captain Kirk and his crew wear is iconic. But in the original Star Trek series, it wasn't a universal symbol for all of Starfleet. Instead, this arrowhead specifically identified the USS Enterprise crew. Other starships had their own distinct emblems. For example, the USS Exeter featured a circular badge with a spike, while the Starship Defiance crew wore a hollow delta without the starburst. Engineers and starbase personnel had different insignias altogether. It wasn't until after the original series that Starfleet adopted the Enterprise's arrowhead as the universal emblem. This change honored Kirk's legendary crew and created the familiar symbol we now associate with Star Trek. Later series like The Next Generation continued this tradition, while prequels like Star Trek Enterprise showed earlier different badges to keep the timeline consistent. GNDN pipes joke. Throughout the USS Enterprise, fans might notice pipes and conduits marked with the mysterious label GNDN. This inside joke stands for Goes Nowhere, Does Nothing, highlighting the purely decorative nature of many set pieces. The production team created a whole system of labels for non-functional pipes, adding an authentic feel to the starship's interior while secretly having a laugh. These pipes were nicknamed Gundans by crew members. The joke became a lasting tradition, with later Star Trek productions including GNDN pipes as a nod to the original series' clever and playful spirit. Boom mic cameo in Charlie X. Even the most careful productions have their moments, like the famous boom microphone that accidentally appeared on screen in the Star Trek episode Charlie X. During a key scene, the mic is clearly visible, swinging at the bottom of the frame. This slip-up wasn't the only one in the episode. Floor markings and tape used to guide actors can also be spotted, revealing the studio's behind-the-scenes reality. Rather than detracting from the show, fans have come to love these bloopers as charming reminders of the hard work and limited resources behind the Star Trek magic.